go. These matches are hugely important. On the right, we got Steven Dykman, Sulaiman, and Kyle Boggemes. On the left, we have Daryl Ayers, Baumeister, and Peter Ingram. There is a draw and a loss difference between these two teams, but very similar records, both still in contention to make it into the top 4. Let's see who takes it down. We're going to be watching, first up, Steven Dykman on Eldrazi versus Dale Ayers on Amulet Titan. Give you all some of that non-Urza action.
And Kyle Boggemes and Sulaiman doing the same thing that we saw the Lotus Box players do recently at the Players' Championship with playing a Devoted Devastation strategy, hoping to capitalize on the fact that these Urza decks are very light on removal, very light on interaction.
All right, Dale Ayers began this game with a mulligan, but a once upon a time here finds a land, and he has a turn 1 Sakura Tribe Scout. Definitely what you want to see if you're a Daryl Ayers fan with this Amulet Titan strat.
Yeah. Not a ton of removal out of this deck, Eldrazi, but Dykman with a clutch Dismember.
Yeah, Dismember coming up huge here. No real 1-drops from the deck other than the Dismembers, but key there in taking down the Sakura Tribe Scout to hinder the development of Daryl. Turn 2 brings just a Simic Growth Chamber, and we're back to Dykman. See, I can do this stuff pretty good, right?
What are you talking about? You're doing just fine.
Right.
You gotta...
But when I bring it up, it makes it worse.
Right.
Right, but I like to bring it up because it makes it really awkward, and that's why I flourish.
Right.
Right?
But then you had to deal with me no selling it.
That's okay.
Which amplifies the awkwardness and then makes it unclear to the viewer if the awkwardness is authentic or still part of the work. You know what I mean?
I don't even know.
It's complicated. A lot of moving parts.
All right, Dykman here's turn 2 leads a second Eldrazi Temple, which could mean a really big Eldrazi coming out next turn. Doesn't have it this one, though. Does have 2 copies of Exhibition Map and a Chalice of the Void on 0. That's going to shut down
Pact.
Summoner's Pact and the Blue Pact as well, but mostly Summoner's Pact being the premier tutor for the deck to find Primeval Titan, being effectively copies 5 through 8. The Chalice of the Void from Dykman on 0, huge here.
Yeah, and heads up play there from Dykman. If Ayers had another 1-cost spell to follow up with either an Amulet or another Tribe Scout, you would have seen it on the previous turn. And so he can be pretty sure at that point that Ayers has no 1-mana cards in his hand, and at that point shutting down the Summoner's Pact that has a premium, something he can smoothly fit into his curve. Good awareness.
No Zeusa here from Daryl either. Now, that Summoner's Pact does occasionally tag a Zeus out of the deck as well to hit ramp enough so you can play that Titan on time. So even if he had it, though, for this turn, can't cast it can't resolve it thanks to the Chalice of the Void. Go back Dykman's way. He's going to contemplate what to do for the turn. Has a couple options thanks to those Expedition Maps. Access to a bunch of mana as long as he's casting Eldrazi. 2 temples getting tapped here. My guess is probably going to pop the map, and he's just thinking about what land to get. Back to the tank. Thanks for the turn is Urza's Tower. And a pass of the turn. No play.
I don't know about this Eldrazi Tron deck sometimes, you know?
Yeah, Teleros here. Not really sure what to go get. Probably just another land, right? Can't cast a 0-mana spell. Might as well. Maybe Blast Zone, but Blast Zone can't blow up the Chalice of the Voids. Engineer Explosives. Can't cast it for 0, but if he has a colorless land, he can actually cast it for 1 with Sunburst of 0, and that's what he chooses to do.
Yeah, so you pay whatever you want to pay, and then Sunburst looks at what happened.
Yeah, how much different colors of mana was spent to cast.
So you can put it on the stack as a 1-mana card. Chalice doesn't do anything. It then enters the battlefield. It kind of looks back to see how much colored mana was spent. The answer is 0, and so you get an Engineer Explosives on 0 through a Chalice of the Void set to 0.
Right.
Not the most intuitive card. A lot of weird interactions come up with this. You know, Thalia Gardener. Thraben is another common one where it gets a little funky. But Ayers with a heads-up play here, able to push it through the Chalice of the Void.
All right. End of turn. Dykman chooses to pop an Expedition Map, goes and gets a second Tron piece. He's going to untap and hopefully cast some big important spell. Let's see what the follow-up is here. 6 mana, 4 mana for a card in the Great Creator, and a plus on the 0-mana Engineer Explosives. means it is in the graveyard.
And threatening a potential lock the next turn here.
Right.
With an Expedition map completing Tron and a Mycosynth Lattice locking the game up.
Now, with this Primeval Titan, that might gum things up again. Do you think that plan changes now? Mycosynth Lattice a bit worse if your opponent has a creature that can attack the Karn.
Yeah, I'm guessing the next turn, depending on exactly how Dykman's hand is set up here, you may want to go get something like Ensnaring Bridge to buy some time. Hopefully Ayers can't break out of it. Although his Primeval Titan might give him a route to get some lands that give him the ability to tutor up something that can break out of Ensnaring Bridge. So
Blast Zone specifically can get there.
There's a little bit of a cat and a mouse game here that comes up, but I would imagine if Dykman can't kill the Primeval Titan, first order of business is finding an Ensnaring Bridge.
Yeah, these colorless Eldrazi decks actually have a really tough time getting Primeval Titan off the battlefield. Usually takes some combination of a block of some sort and a dismember.
Yep.
But Ensnaring Bridge is a great way to keep it from applying any more pressure outside of the enters the battlefield effect. With that said, the Blast Zone can take care of the Ensnaring Bridge. Field of Dead can make some 2/2, so if Dykman gets stuck with a couple cards in hand, those 2/2s can rumble on in. And the Ghost Quarter here can knock Dykman off of Tron, so it can restrict his mana generation. Notably, casting the Primeval Titan off of Castle Garenbrig, that newer addition to the archetype, it's been a really powerful card in these Primeval Titan strategies, giving you that precious 6th mana a turn earlier.
Yeah, and usually in the spots where they don't have Amulet, they're kind of face up with the amount of mana they can generate on their turn. They really only progress by 1. Because Azusa, the turn you play it, if you don't have an Amulet, is going to be net neutral on total mana most of the time, at best. But Castle Garenbrig really mucks up the math and makes the deck even harder to play around because they had Primeval Titan a turn ahead in spots where previously they did not.
So as you suggest, Dykman here is going to fetch up the 3rd Tron piece with that Expedition map. And now has basically his entire sideboard at his disposal, thanks to the Karn the Great Creator's minus ability. Can go get a number of different important artifacts here, but I think the biggest targets are going to be Ensnaring Bridge, Mycosynth Lattice, things of that nature.
Yeah.
Lock pieces, if you will. Bridge here seems like step number 1, just to make sure Primeval Titan can't attack and search up Blast Zone, which is a big deal. But, you know, could choose to go get a number of different things. We don't know what all is in his hand. Looks like an Ensnaring Bridge to me. One of the ones from Magic 25th anniversary, I believe. Different art that I am personally used to. I like the classic
Stronghold.
I like the 7th edition art personally, because that was about the time I started playing Magic.
Yep.
And that was like one of the first times I ever saw it. It's like the dude on the bridge getting tangled in in vines and stuff. And
there we go.
Not that one. That's Gerard getting handled.
This was the this was the set. This was the set where I took a break.
That's a good one to take a break on because it was quite bad.
Stronghold and Exodus.
Yeah, you missed the really bad ones. The Weatherlight was pretty bad too.
Weatherlight was awesome. So much fun.
Yeah,
these sets were not that much fun.
Okay. There's the one. That's my baby right there. I had a really awesome Ensnaring Bridge Grafted Skullcap deck.
Yeah, of course.
Gas.
Yeah, did you have the what's the
Megram?
No, the counter spell Nullbruch. Did you have Nullbruch in it?
No.
You gotta have Nullbruch.
So I was the standard after that.
Oh, okay.
Was when I started. So.
Gotcha.
Reclamation Sage is the play here from Darryl Ayers. Has one of those main deck. It's a great answer to the Ensnaring Bridge. And now, Primeval Titan rumbling on in, attacking the Karn the Great Creator. Going to be digging up a couple more lands to see what the finds are. And this should also be enough to start making some zombies with the Field of the Dead.
Yeah, well, Dykman had a ton of eggs in this basket, and now Ayers is way, way far ahead. Has the ability to blow up Tron, is now threatening the Karn, and Primeval Titan is unchecked and ready to rumble.
Yeah, this main deck Reclamation Sage makes a lot of sense, right? If the format's full of these Urza decks and Karn the Great Creator decks, and even in the pseudo mirrors or whatever, they have Amulet of Vigor. Reclamation Sage can be a high-value tutor target for your Summoners packs. And this main deck one was drawn naturally and able to blow up this Ensnaring Bridge and completely change the texture of the game.
And it's really rare that this deck needs all the cards it drew to do its thing. You usually have resources left over. So this is a deck that can kind of absorb a mulligan to 6 sometimes. You're going to draw Reclamation Sage. It's not always going to be good. But the deck can function even without all of its cards. So it's the type of thing that lends itself really well to playing these situational high upside, low floor one-ofs like Reclamation Sage.
Karn the Great Creator is down. 4 zombies made. Vesuva copied. Feel the Dead. And Gemstone Mine was another find as a way to potentially turn on Sunhome, Fortress of the Legion. Land for turn is Boros Garrison was going to create 2 more zombies, returning a land to Daryl's hand. He's going to choose to bounce that Sunhome to protect it from an opposing Ghost Quarter potentially. He can also use his own Ghost Quarter right now, blow up one of the Tron pieces to stifle that mana development. But just going to cast a Secure Tribe Scout. Making sure we have the dice added to the Gemstone Mine. It's not being tapped for mana right now. It's not that relevant. I actually, honestly, like doing the reverse with counters like that. I like not putting counters on it until I use it and then go reverse. So once it hits the 3rd counter, it blows up. That way, when it's just kind of sitting on the battlefield doing nothing, you don't have just dice just clattering everywhere.
I think that's a better way to track it.
I mean, it depends, right? If it's something like Gemstone Mine where it's a depletion type deal, yes. But if it's like Blast Zone, you need to know what number it is.
Yeah.
You know? So.
And people are just going to default to adhering to the rules on the card.
Sure. For sure. That was like old school PTQ Todd. Like where I was like, everything needs to go super fast. If I ever get a draw, it's my fault. Right? Well, that Ghost Quarter does blow up one of the Urza lands. Looks like Urza's Tower is the one that gets picked off. Waste is the find off the Ghost Quarter. We're going to go back Dykman's way and see what he can do to claw back in this game because he is extremely far behind. Probably going to need something like all his dust off the top here.
Yep.
3rd Eldrazi Temple in hand, but what can he do with it? Last turn it was just Bridge and a 2/2 Walking Ballista. This turn needs to be something a heck of a lot better.
I remember earlier he passed on the 3rd turn with 3 mana, 5 of which was Eldrazi. So it sort of suggests the hand was a little light on action to begin with, and Dykman got to pack it up.
All right, well, Ayers does take game number 1. We also have a game result on the back table. Pete Ingram with Teamer Urza takes his first game win over Kyle Boggemes' devoted Devastation deck. The bottom left of your screen, you can see a match in progress right now. Looks like that is the Peter Ingram Kyle Boggemes game going on. So they're deep in game 2. Corey Baumeister also wins his game number 1 against Sulaiman. So 1-0 sweep so far for the boys on the left. See if they can take it down. But for this current match, we're watching Ayers versus Dykman. Let's go over the sideboards and tell me what you like. On the Ayers side of things, we got 3 copies of Mystical Dispute, 3 Dismember, 2 Force of Vigor, 2 Tireless Tracker, and then 1 O's, Ramming Up Excavator, Radiant Fountain, Tech Edge, Field of Dead as an additional copy, and then Engineered Explosives. What are you bringing in if you're Daryl here?
I want the 3 copies of Dismember. A lot of targets in Eldrazi Tron. I'm interested in another copy of Engineered Explosives, the Tectonic Edge, and the Field of the Dead. You have a little bit of wiggle room in matchups where you can get away from your Cavern of the Souls to bring in colorless lands with different sorts of utility. Tech Edge and Field of the Dead are both plenty productive in this matchup.
All right, on Dykman's side of things, 2 copies of Spatial Contortion, 1 Spellskite, a whole bunch of 1-0s. This is definitely a true blue Karn the Great Creator sideboard. 1 Relic of Progenitus, 1 Lattice, 1 Spyglass, 1 Tormod's Crypt, Liquid Metal Coating, a Snaring Bridge, Craft Digger's Cage, Crucible, Walking Ballista, Mystic Forge, Wormcoil Engine, Sky Sovereign, Console, Flagship. Do you bring in anything? Spatial Contortion seems like it's maybe okay against Tribe Scout.
Azusa too. I would bring in the Spatial Contortions. I think you would need a little bit more interaction for the cheap stuff. The rest of the sideboard, it's for Karn, Great Creator, as you mentioned. None of them really strike me as the type of thing. Sometimes you side in something where it's like, I would never tutor for it. It's my 5th or 6th best tutor target in the matchup, but I wouldn't mind naturally drawing it. None of the cards here really strike me as that sort of thing.
Yeah, they're all just situational things for Karn TCG, I think, right? Or TGC. Now, in the back of your screen on your left, you may see a pretty sad...
I should clarify. I think maybe the Walking Ballista. That might be the type of card. It's just not impactful enough for me to ever tutor for. But if I'm in the market for Spatial Contortion, I could be in the market for that as well. It's just a card to randomly draw. That's the only card of the Karn package here that strikes me as kind of in that sort of the uncanny valley there of good, but not good enough to ever tutor for.
Sure. No, that makes perfect sense. Now, if you look in the back of the left-hand side of your screen, you should see some pretty sad-looking chairs, right?
Look at that.
You can pick up
people just stacking garbage on it.
You can pick up a much, much better chair from Carnox.com. Carnox, we got your back. Save 10% at checkout when you visit Carnox.com/SCG. You got to do the /SCG if you want the 10% off. That's how you do it. We don't have no coupon code.
No.
Just that.
They gave us, it's no coupon code.
It's a link.
They gave us our own website.
Yeah.
That's how big of a deal this is.
Yeah,
Save 10% at checkout when you visit Carnox.com/SEG. Carnox, we've got your back. By we mean they.
Yeah, they got your back.
They do.
Carnox has your back. We need to change this graphic to say Carnox has your back.
Right.
Right?
Right.
Or Carnox, put your butt in us.
Yeah.
You know? There's something weird catch. I would love a weird catchphrase, right?
Right.
Because you're a chair. You're a chair company. Make it stand out. You know what I mean? Now, these Carnox chairs are incredibly comfortable. The players down in the feature match area love using them. Wheelie here love using them in the booth. They're quite comfortable gaming chairs. And also, they're just quite comfortable chairs.
Yeah, they're great. Thanksgiving or Christmas at the house, whatever the thing is.
Lean back. Yeah.
Lean back. Yeah, you get the whole family around, spin around your living room. And then in these things, you can game so hard. You have no idea how hard you can game. That's the only risk of these things. You game so hard, you rip the stitching.
It's going to be hard to rip this stitching. This is good stitching.
That's right. Yeah, that's right.
All right, both players shuffling up here for game number 2. Ayers did take down game 1, so Dykman will likely be on the play, though he has the option to choose to draw. Doesn't happen too often. That's a classic Guillaume Wafutapa move. Tom Morales, I know, likes to draw on occasion.
I draw here and there. Jared Thompson.
Oh, yeah, well, Tom always chooses to draw when he plays A-Rack. Director Dan.
I played a lot of mono red mirrors where I've.
Oh, yeah.
You can't do it. You can't do it anymore because of Planeswalkers. Planeswalkers have forever gotten rid of choosing to draw as a strategy.
Yeah, that's a tilt. You know, when on Magic Arena they introduced the ability to choose to draw.
Ugh, why?
And I was so mad because they let the vocal 38-year-old dummies dictate.
You mean me?
No, because you didn't want to draw.
Oh, just 38 was so on the nose, you know?
You were 38 now. This is a year ago.
Oh, okay. So
right?
37. Right. All right, cool.
All right, okay. All right, here, I'm going to ask you a question. In the dark, who do you think I am talking about on Twitter.com that complained about not being able to choose to draw?
I'm guessing it's someone in the MPL.
Maybe. Just if you had to guess of any Magic personality with enough clout to get them to add it.
I don't know. I don't know if I want to put. I mean, one guess immediately jumps to mind.
Oh, and you're right.
But I don't.
Just say it.
I don't want to put him on blast. Come on.
Say it.
Is this player American?
Yes.
Just
say it.
Did this player?
Unleash your anger.
Did this player originally? Did this player originally reside in the state of Florida?
Yes, he did.
Does this? Okay.
We're not playing 20 questions. You already know who it is.
I know. I'm just thinking. I'm thinking. Just it helps me to think about it out loud a little bit.
Okay.
You know?
All right. See, what you're trying to do is you're trying to let everybody know who it is without saying it.
Is the player in question primarily known for their finishes in Limited, but also has a lot of very good constructed finishes under their belt?
Yes.
Okay. I don't know. This one's tough.
You literally whittled it down to 2 people.
Hold on,
and one of them is not in the MPL.
Hold on. It just helps to think out loud sometimes.
Okay,
you know?
all right. Oh, we could just drop it. I don't want to put nobody on blast.
I'll think about it a little bit more.
Ben Stark!
I'll get it back.
Benjamin Stark!
I'll think about it a little bit more.
You ruined Magic Arena. Just kidding.
That's strong.
He did.
But I don't.
But I did add 5 seconds to every single game that I play in Arena now.
It is a choice, and it's rare, right? It's pretty rare that you would want to.
Yes.
It's rare.
It's so rare, almost like it should be eliminated from the game completely.
I don't know.
You don't know, but you do know.
I don't know.
But you know.
It's not a choice that It's not a choice that I'm interested in making.
Okay. All right. Well, we got a game, folks. After all the mulligan and stuff, here we are. Dykman on the play. Turn 1, Tron land in Expedition map. That's what you want to see if you're an Eldrazi Tron player. Once upon a time from Ayers finds Primeval Titan, but it looks like he's mulligan quite a bit. Let's see if he can recoup that card advantage with things like bounce lands. Dykman thumbing through a decent-sized grip. Just going to let it go.
Yeah, I mean, once it's in the client, the opportunity cost to take it out. You know
it's way worse to take it out,
It's
probably.
way worse. Because then you have to deal with the flood of people talking about how skill has been removed from the game.
Yes.
To say nothing of, a lot of y'all could use less skill in the game, you know what I mean? Be careful be careful what you wish for, you know?
Oh. What's the name? Coward Souls on Eldrazi as per usual. And then Chalice of the Void on X=1. This could shut down Amulet of Vigor. Let's go Tribe Scout. Ancient Stirrings, maybe a couple sideboard cards. Dykman didn't have the second Tron piece, but could draw it. Could also use the Expedition map to go find something like Eldrazi Temple to potentially unlock some of those more expensive Eldrazi they may have in hand. I saw a card in the Great Crater poking out. So probably going to be digging for a Tron land, I would have to assume, and kind of maybe hoping to draw the third one naturally.
A classic Eldrazi Tron strategy.
Yeah. My favorite thing is drawing an Expedition map after you play Chalice of the Void on one. That is literally the greatest feeling in the world.
Yep. It's a well-constructed deck.
It is. Look, you only have the 4 1-drops, and they're extremely important, and you have no other 1-drops, so it's fine. Until you draw it, after you Chalice on one. And then you realize your deck is unplayable garbage.
Yeah. Yeah, you're like map for...
Oh, I'm being too aggressive. I need to settle down. Can I get an Advil? Can I, I need something to lighten the blood flow or whatever, Thin the blood? That's
or whatever. Or whatever.
Or whatever.
or whatever.
All right, Breeding Pool is the find here for Ayers, and he does have another Reclamation Sage to blow up the Chalice of the Void, so that should unlock some of those 1-mana spells that he may have in hand. Looks like we got a real game on our hands here. Let's see what Dykman can produce on the following turn. Dykman checking to make sure the Reclamation Sage is indeed a 2/1. Perhaps asking what set it's from, because that's a promo one. You never know.
I doubt he's asking for the set.
Yeah. Decides to use a Dismember on the Reclamation Sage just to keep the board relatively clean.
Is your Reclamation Sage fake? It looks fake.
Was it made in the last 2 years?
Yeah.
It's paper mache. All right. Well, the Dismember does knock it down. That means that there aren't going to be any gang blocks with it. Not going to be pressuring Card in the Great Crater if it's cast here, which I believe is going to be the case. We're going to use it probably to tutor for something. Maybe liquid metal coating. I don't know. It's going to tick down. Look through his sideboard here for something nice. Let's see what the reveal is.
Good news for Dykman here. No threat of Primeval Titan the next turn, barring something weird like an Amulet plus an Azusa, probably in the clear. You can start really attacking Ayers' mana.
Amulet, Azusa. Let's see. Amulet, you need an extra mana. So you go Amulet, Azusa. Bounce land 3 times. I think you're actually 1 short. I don't know for sure, though. I'm bad at math. So I've been told.
You must be at least okay, though.
I'm pretty good at math. You make one mistake one time, just haunts you for the rest of your days, Ayers
What
here.
are you talking about?
Nah, just let it go. Just let that one go, please.
Oh, hold on.
Yeah, no.
Something
no.
in the recesses.
No.
Something in the recesses of my mind has been
activated
like
by
a
that
sleeper,
comment. Like a sleeper agent.
Exactly.
Ayers here with a.
We'll talk about that in a little bit.
Yeah. Ayers here with an Amulet of Vigor. Oh, that's one way to maybe do it. Double Amulet of Vigor.
Yeah, 2 amulets, and you can. It's unlikely though. Takes a lot.
2 amulets and a bounce land is 5. 2 amulets plus Azusa and a bounce land is well more than enough. And he did, it does have a second amulet in hand and a bounce land. Okay, so he's going to float a decent amount of mana here too.
And then he can transmute for Azusa and then play it a few more times.
Yeah, and that's just so much mana with double amulet.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
What a turn. We were just, I think from this structure, isn't Dykman just dead because there's going to be 16 coming at him here? If he's got Azusa into Primeval Titan and then you get all the pieces.
He may be short on mana to cast the Azusa right now, which might be the problem. He transmuted for Tolaria West, or with Tolaria West to go to Summoner's Pact. I don't think he cast it just yet. Because he untapped the Simic Growth Chamber, made 4, returned the Tolaria West to transmute it. And he had 1 floating. I think he could have done it. He probably doesn't have another bounce land in hand.
Sure.
So. Looks like we have an update on our back table. Pete Ingram defeats Kyle Boggemes 2-0 with that Teamer Urza strategy. I know we saw multiple members of Team BCW on the same Teamer Urza strat. Corey Baumeister, Pete Ingram from this team, but we also yesterday saw Ross Marion and at least one other member is escaping me off the top of my head. That he was with Ely Cassis. Yes, Ely Cassis was on his team playing the same strategy. Oh, Shaheen Sorani was also playing it too. Old man Shaheen.
Surprising. Would have expected him to be playing with the cards Mana Leak and Lightning Helix.
And
or
Stoneforge Mystic.
Yeah. Perhaps Drowned in the Lock.
Perhaps Lingering Souls.
Perhaps Lingering Souls.
Lingering Souls actually seems pretty good against
Perhaps
Oko.
one sideboard copy of Painful Truths. You know the type.
Oh, yeah. 1 Goryo's Vengeance, 1 Obstinate Ghost Council.
Right.
So that you can Gifts Ungiven for both of them with a Snapcaster Mage, and your opponent is dead.
1 Unburial Rites.
4 years ago, they were probably dead.
Right.
You know? All right. Well, Dykman here does assemble Tron, so we got a bit of a game on our hands.
Yeah, he dialed up the Lattice there.
Now, if he just casts Lattice, there's a chance, a reasonable chance, that Ayers is just dead. Can't cast any more spells. Has Fielded Dead on the battlefield, so over the course of the next 18 turns or whatever, it can play enough lands to start making zombies. The lands don't get turned off per se. Their activated abilities get turned off, and that's a static ability that triggers once you meet the requirements. So Lattice here, a pretty great find, but it all depends on whether or not Ayers has some sort of answer in hand right now. He does have multiple copies of Force of Vigor in the sideboard, but notably those don't really do much against Mycosynth Lattice because the cards in your hand actually become colorless.
Yep.
Super awkward.
Yeah, can't pay the cost. You can float it if you have the mana on the spot, just like any other Shatter, but you can't alt cast it.
Yeah, and I do not recall any sort of Nature's Claim effect in his sideboard, so this might be the end of this game in a game that we thought was about to be shifting pretty heavily in Daryl's favor.
I'm curious what Dykman's talking about with his teammates here, because the odds that you're just dead by 1 million next turn is basically already determined. Oh, what to chalice for in terms of setting it up?
I think he chaliced for 2. Right. But he just wanted to make sure he covered all the bases, because if Daryl had an answer there that, I don't know exactly what it was going to be, but it could have been bad.
For 2 mana?
For 2 mana. So besides the Chalice on 2 to prevent a 2-mana disenchant as opposed to locking out like Nature's Claim, for example.
Or Ceremonious Rejection.
Or Ceremonious Rejection. Sure. All right. Because Corey Baumeister and Raha Sulaiman are deep in their match already, and we don't want to show you guys shuffling and sideboarding and everything. We're actually going to cut over to that match and potentially get a conclusion to our match here. If Corey Baumeister takes down this game, his Team Urza deck is up against the Devoted Devastation deck from Raha Sulaiman. Let's move over to that. Take a peek. Oh, well, never mind. We're going to be moving back to the Ayers Dykman match because this game just concluded. I can only assume Sulaiman won that one just because Corey's reaching for his sideboard and not packing all his cards in his box.
A little bit of comeback here for Dykman, Sulaiman, and Boggemes, all of whom lost game number 1. Boggemes quickly swept 2-0 in his match, but both of their remaining players able to take game number 2, still with a shot of winning the whole thing.
All right, folks. It's coming down to the wire here. We're going to go back to Dykman and Ayers. Just get you a conclusion for this game and maybe this match if Ayers takes it down. If he doesn't, we're going to be moving back to the Baumeister-Sulaiman match to see their finish as well. Try to make sure you get the conclusion on camera. Never like to have a match finish off camera. It's really off-putting, you know?
Try to avoid it. It's not always feasible. Because
we can't hold them for more than a few minutes.
There are logistical demands. We can't just hold a match for 20 minutes, have it go over time and all that. So we do the best that we can, but it's not foolproof by any means.
Oh, for sure. All right, multiple pile shuffles going on here. You love to see it. I know you have some pretty strong opinions of the pile shuffle, considering it's not technically randomization anymore.
Well, I don't mind one pile shuffle to literally count that you have 60.
Sure.
That's fine. Anything past that, like you were permitted back in the day, excessive, a waste of time, not actually randomizing. I think the rule set now is appropriate.
Oh, for sure. Now, if you want to catch all the matches that have been played already, you can check those out on our YouTube page. SRC Games' YouTube page features Versus Live and Commander Versus. Those are filmed live, but then the VODs are put up on YouTube. You can check out Flashback, where we interview some of our key stars here on the SCG Tour and go over their career and their life and get to know them a bit better. Best of SCG Tour, including basically every match that's ever been played on camera. Almost all of those, if not all of them, are on YouTube. You can go back and watch your buddies if they got on camera against Tom Ross or somebody way back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
Check out you dumpstering Ross Merriam millions of times. I'm surprised that video has not broken 100,000 views. I bet if you counted all the times we played it on the
then
SCG
you're
Tour,
well over 100,000.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And so much more. There's just so much content on our YouTube page. Make sure to hit that little bell, get that follow. You can check it out, youtube.com/StarCityGames. Both players here. I should have talked more about the YouTube page. I thought we were ready to go. These boys are just mulliganing.
You got a lot up there, a lot of archives.
Oh, yeah, I do. Yeah, I was on the Versus series for, hell, half a decade at least, maybe more. And we did that once or twice a week. Been on camera plenty of times here on the SCG Tour.
Did you do a flashback?
I did do a flashback. I was the first flashback, and by far the best flashback, because I'm the best.
They haven't done one with me.
Because you don't live there. Where are they going to film it?
I come to Roanoke all the time for the Players' Championship.
That's true,
stuff.
that's true.
They could do it.
Yeah, but they are busy. They are busy.
I mean,
They don't even do verses on the weeks where there's a Players' Championship, just so you know.
I guess. I mean, busy is a state of being. Too busy is a choice.
Sure.
I agree that they are busy. I do not concede that they are too busy.
Okay.
That's all.
All right, so the match here between Ayers and Dykman is beginning. We got Ayers leading off with a Once Upon a Time, finds a Simic Growth Chamber. See if he has a one-drop play.
Got an amulet.
That's a nice one. Does he have a land that taps for mana that doesn't bounce back to his hand? Breeding Pool is the play, and Amulet of Vigor. Ayers down to 18. Going back to Dykman's way. Turn one, Urza's Tower, followed by Expedition Map. Hopefully for Dykman, he has a second Urza land in hand to complete the Tron on turn 3 and maybe go Karn, the Great Creator, into something like liquid metal coating to shut down the mana development from Ayers. No.
I think you might be getting in your head of yourself a little bit here talking about Dykman's third turn.
Okay. All right. Okay. So bounce land here floats 2. Zusa is the creature played with the 2 floating. Send a Growth Chamber back to hand. Still 2 land drops left to play, so potentially 4, maybe more mana available for Ayers. Let's see what he does with that extra mana. As long as he holds on to the Growth Chamber in hand and Dykman doesn't destroy the Zeus next turn, that bounce line represents 6 mana, plus the Breeding Pool in play is 7 mana to potentially cast Primeval Titan and do some other cool stuff. You know, Amulet of Vigor lets them untap Boros Garrison, Slayer Stronghold to give it haste and lets it attack and get 2 more lands. It's a pretty powerful synergy. It's what we call a 2-card combination.
Yeah, it's a combination. Sometimes known colloquially as a combo.
Right. Now, that Growth Chamber was played 2 more times, floated blue, blue, green, green. Green was used to cast Tribe Scout. Blue, blue 1 was used to transmute Lair West 4, Summoner's Pact. The next turn, Ayers has a Primeval Titan rolled up, assuming that Azusa doesn't catch a Dismember on the way back.
Yeah, I think that if Dykman can't get his gloves up this turn, he is dead. Ayers has an Amulet of Vigor. That's the thing that allows you to kill all in 1 turn. All the mana in the world to work with. And a Summoner's Pact already known about to be able to find Primeval Titan.
Chalice of Wood on 0 would actually be a pretty interesting play because Ayers can't really cast a Summoner's Pact in response. If he does, he'll die on his upkeep. Even with the Skirt. Oh, no, with Skirt Tribe Scout, he can actually float 4 with the Growth Chamber and then bounce it back to his hand. So that's, you know, I don't know. It's all weird and...
Well, no, the Tribe Scout only allows you just you're only getting the 2 mana in that spot, right?
Oh yeah, you're right.
He can't do it that way.
Oh, he was generating such an outrageous amount of mana last game, and I was still in my head that they were tapping for 4. So apologies for that. But here is a Spatial Contortion on the Azusa, and that's exactly what Dykman needed to stay in this game, and even has a second Tron piece. And a Chalice on 0.
Oh, yeah.
Has it all!
Yeah, I like the... wait. One more thing before you take a turn. And also...
Hold on.
Chalice for 0.
Yeah. You want to cast it? You want to cast a Summoner?
There's a Warping Whale. Looks like we might have an error in our deck list.
Excuse me.
No.
Main deck Warping Whale.
Oh, yeah,
a lot of the
Eldrazi
Tron decks are now playing main deck Warping Whale as a means to not only get rid of Urza, it also tags Emery, Gilded Goose, and a lot of the creatures out of this Primeval Titan deck. It's quite the strong card right now. And even counter sorceries, so you tag Scapeshift.
Right.
Ghost Quarter is the play here from Ayers. Has the Tribe Scout to potentially generate extra land drop / mana, but the Summoner's Pact is locked down. And he's just going to pass the turn back. Now maybe going to start hitting land drops manually, not getting the extra burst mana off the Amulet bounce land combo with the Zusa. Back to Dykman. He's going to crack the map, go get the 3rd Tron piece. Now, Ayers does have that Ghost Quarter that he can use to break up the Tron right now. But it will give Dykman an untapped waste that he could potentially use that extra mana on. So there's a minor risk. And he also sets himself back mana, and he doesn't have that much to work with right now.
Yeah, I mean, it's the mana that gets generated this turn is actually net neutral because you would get 1 from the waste plus your land drop for the turn, which is the same amount of mana that you have, just allowing him to have the Tron piece.
Right.
So there's not much of an incentive to Ghost Quarter this moment. Washes out the same way. Next turn could be different, but for now, Ayers might as well keep the land drop in play.
Follows that up with a Mind Stone off the 2 mana land.
This deck's got some cards in it.
Well, sometimes you don't draw your, sometimes you don't draw your 2 mana lands or your Tron, right? And you need some way to cast a turn 3 Thought-Knots here.
Yeah, for sure. No, I sort of, just...
it gets sided out against everyone. I don't know if it is the card that gets sided out against everyone. Some decks have that. It is Mind Stone. Ayers decides to Ghost Quarter. He's going after the Urza's Mine. That's going to allow Dykman to search up a Wastes. So he still has access to 4 mana. And still has a land drop for the turn. Could be another Tron piece to reassemble. Who knows? If he wanted to, could have floated mana off the mine and cracked the Mind Stone. So I assume that he just wants the Mind Stone for mana this turn, so that he can maybe cast an Eldrazi to start applying some pressure. You got to close the game. You can't give this Amulet Titan deck too much extra time.
Yeah, particularly with an Amulet of Vigor and a Sakura Tribe Scout. Ayers is drawing. Does not take a whole lot. Anything that blows up the Chalice or just a natural draw to Primeval Titan. And it's not just like Dykman falls behind a little bit. It's the game might just end on the spot.
Right. All right. Here's 4 mana for a Thought-Knot Seer. It's going to go after Ayers' hand. In response, he's going to play a Dismember on the Thought-Knot Seer, losing 4 life, but gets to kill and draw a card, and then the resolution happens. And he gets to strip a card permanently. 2 dead cards that are locked down by Chalice of the Void. And 2 Simic Growth Chambers are the hand for Ayers.
So it is what it is. Ayers got nothing going on, but it only takes 1 draw to end it all on the spot.
Yeah, that Summoner's Pact was a bit more threatening than the Pact of Negation. Pact of Negation usually used as a defensive measure. Once you already have Primeval Titan going, usually go get like Talaria West and Simic Growth Chamber to transmute for that counterspell. So you don't get beat while you're tapped out by something like Karn the Great Crater into Ensnaring Bridge.
Right, all right.
Or some other thing, you know. During the end step, Sakura Tribe Scout did put one of those Simic Growth Chambers onto the battlefield, and now Azusa is the play. If he wants to, he can play that bounce land and then the Breeding Pool and generate up to 5 mana right now, or he can hold on to the Growth Chamber and threaten a lot more mana next turn thanks to that Amulet of Vigor and extra land drops from the Azusa, choosing the latter.
Yeah, no way for Ayers is not going to be bottlenecked on mana from this point forward. It's just an issue now if he can find Primeval Titan in time.
Doesn't have a whole lot of time, probably. This Eldrazi Tron deck can really put some pressure on you in a hurry. But this draw from Dykman is not particularly aggressive. It's way more interactive and defensive.
There it is.
Perfect follow-up. Mind Stone. Next turn, maybe perhaps could cast a 6-mana spell.
This deck has got some cards.
All right, he's going to go ahead and actually crack the Mind Stone and dig for another Dismember, I believe, to try to knock off this Azusa, since the Azusa does generate a bunch of extra mana. And a miss. Back Ayers' way. Draw for the turn. Unknown. Unclear. Probably not a Primeval Titan, or else he would have slammed it.
Probably not.
Attacking for 2 here. Going to get him some damage while he can. Getting while the getting's good.
It's not the worst also just have that magic number of 16, which is what a Primeval Titan hits for if you get everything set up with the +2/+0 and double strike.
Right. Back Dykman's way, gets to untap. See what he has for his turn. I saw Reality Smasher hanging out last time. Does he have it this time? Second copy of Wastes. Not the greatest thing in the world, but it is a 6-mana source, so now stuff like Endbringer unlocked. Ugin the Ineffable. Karn the Great Crater with a minus for a 2-mana spell also on the table. Looks like we're going to opt for a Reality Smasher. Come on in! He must have drawn something interactive, and he's just really tanking on it. That's a weird cat and mouse game there, where I'm not even sure that Ayers wanted the Pact of Negation to resolve. He could pay for it by putting the land in off the Sakura Tribe Scout, but
I don't mind. I think that's a fine time to pick your spot there for a little Chalice check.
Yeah. It was also funny because Dykman just, like, kind of baited
this is my experience.
Pact of Negation.
This
like,
is my experience with the baiting of the Chalice check. Wait for the stack to get big. That's when you want to throw your jabs.
Yeah, or wait for the board to come incredibly complicated so that they are thinking way more about other things.
Like in response to a negate on my Rift Bolt that's coming off suspend, that's when you go for Lightning Bolt.
Yeah.
You need to have, there's got to be other things going on.
And you usually gotta like bolt the creature too. You can't just like go face. You got to
Right.
do something that makes them like think about it. Right?
Exactly.
They're just like, oh no.
That's going to be my next strategy article. How to challenge check strategy.
All right, well, Daryl Ayers does pick up a Dismember here. He's going to play in response to the Thought-Knots here, and he discards a card from hand to pay the cost. Last card in hand is just that Simic Growth Chamber, so Thought-Knot misses.
So we're at where we're at all the time. Primeval Titan, his game on the spot, almost certainly. All the other draws in Ayers' deck, not worth a whole lot.
That's true. That's true. Ayers is down to 5 life points now. Not quite lethal to that Thought-Knots here, and has multiple blockers. Finds a 1-mana spell, looks like. Let's see what it is. Dismember, going down to 1. Dead to a Ballista, dead to an Endbringer activation, but gets to draw a card.
Yeah, it's another look at it for the purposes of finding Primeval Titan.
And it makes it so you don't have to chump block multiple turns in a row to not die. So Dykman here out of pressure, but walking Ballista off the top would seal the deal. Card in the Great Creator for a Ballista on 1 also seals it. Let's see if he can find it before Ayers finds that Primeval Titan to steal the game. Dykman shakes his head. Can't be good. That body language signifies to me that this is starting to maybe start to slip away. He has a Chalice of the Void in hand. He chooses not to cast. I would have maybe liked to seen a Chalice of the Void on X=2. Lock down something like Once Upon a Time.
Sure.
Not a whole lot of 2s left. You've cycled all those Mind Stones. You know, not a lot of dead ones.
I hope for your sake that you're out of Mind Stones.
You know, there were 2. I don't know if there's more. Our deck list thing's broken.
Yeah.
Transmute Slayer West. So this can find a land, perhaps Field of the Dead, and maybe he starts playing lands from hand. I know he has Slayer Stronghold, but could maybe just go get Summoner's Pact in case he's able to draw one of those disenchant effects for the Chalice of the Void. Does have Slayer Stronghold in hand, I believe, from the draw, so he could go get Boros Garrison, which actually unlocks the Slayer Stronghold.
And start going
to town. Start battling for 4 every turn. Now that's a clock.
Start teeing off.
That's a clock. That's a real clock. You laugh. That's a clock.
No, I laugh because that's probably the play I would make. I would, if I'm in the air spot, you know what I'm trying to do right now? Tune up the band.
Okay. I would have gotten Boros Garrison personally, but Ayers is a...
If he has Reclamation Sage in his deck, it makes sense to go, because it just opens up. It's one more thing.
You just have, you just have extra draws to win on the spot. There's Warping Whale to make it. It was a bait. He just shook his head. It was a bait the whole time.
Makes the Scion and trucks a class for that last point.
Oh, no. Well, that actually just evens up the match. We're not even done yet, folks. We're going to be moving over to the deciding match. Corey Baumeister versus Sulaiman in the middle table. Once we get that, we'll get all the life totals set up. Make sure that y'all get to see the conclusion of this match. And those players, again, do have time extension because we did hold them for roughly 5-ish minutes. So when we cut over to there, they will have a little more time than what was on the clock just now.
Yeah, I mean, that's an interesting spot, right? What are the odds that you get it done with regular damage versus losing to Warping Whale? Are you supposed to leave something back?
You should never leave anything back. I don't know if you actually can win with those creatures, but I think the likelihood of you losing to Warping Whale is slightly smaller than the odds of you winning with your goofball 1/1s and 1/2s beating down. You know, they could just draw 5 lands in a row and then they die.
Right, but you're a pretty big favorite to win the game if they draw 5 lands in a row regardless.
Okay.
So you're optimizing for the spots you're already favored versus giving yourself a little bit more equity in the spot where the game's competitive. I don't know. I don't know what you're supposed to do. So it's hard to fight the instinct to just keep beating down. You know, that's part. Sure. You know, that's part of it too.
All right, so here we are, Baumeister versus Sulaiman. Looks like Baumeister is well set up here with an Urza, Lord High Artificer, a couple of artifacts that are tapping for mana, cycling, doing all sorts of stuff, spinning the wheels with Urza, et cetera, et cetera. And Raja Sulaiman with just 3 lands and a food token on the battlefield, so not a whole lot going on for him. Corey is still going. Looks like he's shuffling and spinning and casting things off of Urza. It's a real good time here. Real good time.
Oh, thank God he's attacking.
All right. Karnstruck plus Urza is coming in for 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 damage, I believe. Don't quote me on that. Again, pretty bad at math, so I've been told.
I mean, you have to be pretty good at math in some respects to be able to play Magic.
Yeah, like rudimentary stuff.
No, you need to have your head around sort of at least intuitions about thinking probabilistically.
Yeah, see, we figured that out via playing a bunch.
Sure.
Because I'm not very smart.
You just brute forced it.
Oh, yeah. That's my entire life. All right, Collector Roof is the play from Raja Sulaiman, but I don't think that's going to be enough.
Checking into Collector Roof, not doing anything against Urza.
Oh, man, this is just, it doesn't shut down
Chapter
the mana
12.
generation. Shuts down Ether Spellbomb, I guess.
I mean, you can get in the way of the construct. That's not bad.
He's just chum blocking.
Can't Spellbomb it, you know? You got that locked out.
He's just chum blocking. I'm just mad. This just makes me mad. The fact that Urza just works through Collector Oof makes me mad.
Yep. Well,
here's a spin. Astrolabe, great. Draw another card. Whee. Woo. Go Corey. Yes. I can't wait for Cedric to get in here. I can't keep a straight face.
Yo, I think we got. Oh, that's gonna do it. Anger of the Gods.
Great.
There you go.
Well, Anger of the Gods for Corey Baumeister clears the Collector Roof, lets an attack come through for lethal, and that will take the match for Ayers, Baumeister, and Ingram. Baumeister and Ingram able to pick theirs up. They're going to be moving on to 11-2, I believe, with only one round to go. Depending on how tiebreakers and things